only by the noble individuals and not by the worldly people. 4. Finally, the Buddha knew that in future times, because they were of weak faculties, his disciples would become attached to dharmas by way of making distinctions and would wrongly say about the four immeasurables. The four limitless ones, having beings as their object, are exclusively impure, concern the desire realm exclusively and do not exist in the formless realm. In order to destroy the wrong views of these people, the Buddha said that the four immeasurables also concern the arupiyadhatu. And since the Buddha considers these four immeasurables as concerning all the beings of the 10 directions, they must also have the arupiyadhatu as object. Thus it is said in the Laotsenyi Po Sa when loving kindness is of 3 kinds. I. That which has beings as object. 2. That which has things as object. 3. That which has no object. The Sastra explains. That which has beings as object is impure. That which has no object is pure. And that which has things as object is sometimes impure and sometimes pure. All this is a summary of the four immeasurables. Second section, the four formless absorptions. I. The formless absorptions according to the Abhidharma. The four formless absorptions are: I. The sphere of infinity of space. 2. The sphere of infinity of consciousness. 3. The sphere of nothing at all. 4. The sphere of neither discrimination nor non-discrimination. 1. Defiled absorptions, acquired by birth, acquired by effort. These four formless absorptions are each of 3 kinds. Stained, acquired by birth or acquired by effort. 1. The 31 bad propensities contained in the 4 arupiyas and the formations associated with the mind arising within these propensities are stained. 2. Acquired by birth. Those who have practiced the 4 immaterial absorptions are reborn by virtue of ripening of these actions in the formless realm and obtain 4 clear and morally undefined skandhas. 3. Acquired by effort. Examining the grossness and harmfulness of form, the cause of old age, sickness, death, and all kinds of suffering, the yogin considers it as a sickness, as an ulcer, as a poisoned arrow. He tells himself that all of it is deception and falsehood that he must avoid. Having reflected in this way, he overcomes all notion of matter, he destroys all notion of resistance, he forgets all notion of multiplicity and penetrates into the absorption of infinity of space. 2. Process of access to the absorptions. Question. How can these 3 kinds of notions of matter, resistance, multiplicity be destroyed? Answer. These 3 kinds of notions, all coming from a complex of causes and conditions, are without intrinsic nature and, since their intrinsic self-nature does not exist, they are all deceptions, non-realities, easily destroyed. Furthermore, the yogin says to himself, distinctions regarding form are eliminated little by little and finally no longer exist. This is why, if they do not exist later, neither do they exist now. Under the influence of error, being sees the characteristics of identity and difference in composite matter, and their minds become attached to the nature of matter. As for me, I must not imitate these fools. I must seek the true reality in which there is neither identity nor difference. Furthermore, the yogin reflects thus. 1. When I rejected and avoided dharmas, I obtained considerable benefits. First, I abandoned my wealth, my wife, and children. I left home and found the pure discipline. My mind is secure. I have no more fear. 2. Putting away desires, evil and wicked dharmas, I obtain the first dhyana, joy and happiness, the result of detachment. 3. By suppressing inquiry and analysis, by inner purification, I obtain the second dhyana where there is great joy and happiness. 4. By renouncing joy, I found myself in the third dhyana which is by far the happiest. 5. Suppressing this happiness, I obtain the fourth dhyana, purified by renunciation and reflection. 6. Now I abandon these four dhyanas, for it is still necessary to obtain the wonderful absorptions. This is why the yogin transcends the notion of matter, destroys the notion of resistance and no longer thinks about the notion of multiplicity. 3. Transcending ideas. The Buddha spoke of three kinds of form. 1. There is form that is visible and resistant. 2. There is invisible resistant form. 3. There is invisible non-resistant form. When the yogin transcends the notion of matter, this concerns visible resistant form. When he destroys the notion of resistance, this concerns invisible resistant form. When he no longer thinks about the notion of multiplicity, this concerns invisible non-resistant form. Furthermore, by the destruction of visible seen by the eye, the yogin transcends matter. By the destruction of the ear and sounds, the nose and smells, the tongue and tastes, the body and tangibles, he transcends the notion of resistance. In regard to other forms and many varieties not described as form, we speak of the notion of multiplicity. Seeing this, the yogin eliminates the defilements of the form realm and obtains the akasayatana. In regard to the causes and methods of obtaining the other three arupyas, refer to what was said in the chapter on the dhyana paramita. 4. Moral qualities of the absorptions. Of the four formless absorptions, 1, namely, the naivasamjnanasamjnayatana, is always impure. For the other three, one can single out. The akasayatana is sometimes impure and sometimes pure. If it is impure, this akasayatana contains four impure aggregates. If it is pure, it contains four pure aggregates. It is the same for the vijnanayatana and the akimcanyayatana. All these absorptions are conditioned and good. If it is impure, the akasayatana involves retribution and is morally indeterminate. If it is pure, it does not involve retribution. It is the same for the vijnanayatana and the akimcanyayatana. If it is good, the naivasamjnanasamjnayatana involves retribution and is morally indeterminate, but in itself it does not involve retribution. 2. The formless absorptions according to the Mahayana. Question. What do these four absorptions consist of in the Mahayana? Answer. In the Mahayana, these four formless absorptions are modes of wisdom connected with the true nature of dharmas. Question. What is the true nature of dharmas? Answer. It is the fact that dharmas are empty of intrinsic nature. Question. We accept that material dharmas composed of and coming from various causes and conditions are empty. But why would non-material dharmas be empty? Answer. If the coarse substances, seen by the eye and heard by the ear, can be accepted as empty, then why would non-material invisible, non-resistant, experiencing neither suffering nor happiness, not be empty? Furthermore, material dharmas that can be analyzed as far as their subtle atoms are scattered, perish and return to the void. But the non-material dharmas are still less consistent. These minds and mental events do not exist for a month, a fortnight, an hour, a minute, or even a single second. This is the significance of the four formless absorptions, and all of this summarizes the four immeasurables. End chapter 33.